a WikiVidi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. BTS Band. BTS, also known as the Bangtan Boys, is a 7-member South Korean boy band formed by Big Hit Entertainment. The name subsequently became a backronym for Beyond the Scene. On June 12, 2013, they performed the song, No More Dream, from their initial album Too Cool for Skool to commemorate their debut on June 13, 2013. They won several New Artist of the Year awards for the track, No More Dream, including at the 2013 Melon Music Awards and Golden Disc Awards and the 2014 Seoul Music Awards. The band continued to gain prominence with their subsequent albums Dark and Wild, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, and The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, with the latter two entering the US Billboard 200. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, went on to win the Album of the Year award at the 2016 Melon Music Awards. Their second full album, Wings, peaked at 6 on the Billboard 200, which marked the highest chart ranking for a K-pop album ever. In South Korea, Wings became the best-selling album in the Gaon album chart history at the time. It sold more than 1.5 million copies, making it BTS's first million seller, and the group was subsequently awarded Artist of the Year at the 2016 Asian Music Awards. The group's next release, Love Yourself, Her, debuted on the Billboard 200, the highest rank for an Asian artist in history. The group also managed to debut on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time with the album's title track, DNA, which entered at 5 and peaked at 7. Another track from the album, Mic Drop, was remixed by Steve Aoki with a feature by Designer and peaked at 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. Both tracks are certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, a first for any Korean act ever. The album sold over 1.2 million copies on South Korea's Gaon album chart in its first month, reclaiming its title as the best-selling album in the chart's history, and becoming the biggest-selling Korean album by month in 16 years, second to G.O.D's album in 2001. BTS was awarded the Asian Music Award for Artist of the Year for the second year in a row in 2017. Their third full album, Love Yourself, Tear, debuted on the Billboard 200, making them the only K-pop act to achieve this feat so far. The album's title track, Fake Love, is the group's third song to reach gold certification. Love Yourself, Answer, the repackage of that album, also debuted on the Billboard 200. The repackage sold over 1.9 million copies on Gaon album chart in August 2018, breaking the chart's all-time monthly record once again. Since their debut, they have sold an estimated 9 million albums worldwide. Known for their large social media presence, BTS were listed by Forbes as the most retweeted artist on Twitter in March 2016. In May, Twitter launched its first ever K-pop emoji, featuring BTS. In October, Billboard placed BTS on their Social 50 chart, making them the first Korean group to top the chart. To date, they have spent 94 weeks on the Social 50 chart. Also in 2016 they charted on YouTube Music Global Top 100, 17th on the video chart, 6th on the artist chart, and 14th on the tracks chart. In May 2017, they won the Top Social Artist Award at the Billboard Music Awards, becoming the first Korean group to win a BBMA. In June 2017, Time magazine named the band one of the 25 most influential people on the internet. On November 20, 2017, Guinness World Records revealed that BTS had earned a spot in their 2018 edition for having the world's most Twitter engagements for a music group. That December, they were revealed to be the most tweeted about celebrity in 2017, being liked or retweeted over 500 million times worldwide. BTS is on the 2018 Forbes Korea Power Celebrity list, which ranks South Korea's most powerful and influential celebrities. Name. The group's name, BTS, stands for the Korean expression Bangtan Sonyeondan, literally meaning bulletproof Boy Scouts. The name was conceptualized with the thought that BTS would block out stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations that target adolescents like bullets and protect the values and ideals of today's adolescents. In Japan, they are known as, which translates similarly. In July 2017, Beats announced that in addition to Bangtan Sonyeondan or Bulletproof Boy Scouts, the name would also stand for Beyond the Scene, as part of their new brand identity. This extended their name to mean growing youth Beats who is going beyond the realities they are facing, and going forward. 2010-2014, debut and moderate success. Auditions for a possible boy band were held in 2010 and 2011 by Big Hit Entertainment, and the lineup went through several changes before it was finalized with Jin, Suga, J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, and Jungkook in 2012. 6 months prior to their debut, they began to gain attention for their presence on various social media websites, as well as song covers on YouTube and SoundCloud. The group's debut single album Too Cool for Skool, the first installment in their Skool trilogy series, was released simultaneously with its lead single, No More Dream, on June 12, 2013. While the album peaked at number 5 on the Gaon album chart and sold over 105,000 copies, No More Dream, and the subsequent single, We Are Bulletproof Part 2, were not major hits. Expanding their endeavors into Japan, No More Dream was later re-recorded in Japanese and released on June 4, 2014. The second part to the Skool trilogy was the extended play O Relate, 2, released on September 11, 2013, along with NO as its single. The EP sold over 120,000 copies to date and peaked at number 4. That same month, Beats starred in their own variety show, SBS MTV's Rookie King channel Bangtan, based on a fake broadcast station, Channel Bangtan, through which members parodied variety shows such as VJ Special Forces and MasterChef Korea. At the end of the year, Beats was recognized with several new Artist of the Year awards, including the 2013 Melon Music Awards and Golden Disc Awards and the 2014 Seoul Music Awards. The last act to their Skool trilogy, Skool Love Affair, topped the Gaon chart and sold over 200,000 copies. It also peaked at number 3 on Billboard's World Albums chart, marking the Beats' first release on the chart. The album was supported by the singles Boy in Love and Just One Day. That June, Beats participated as judges for a K-pop cover dance competition in the Bridge to Korea Festival in Russia, an event that aimed to promote tourism between the two countries, where they also performed on stage. In August, the group also attended KCON in Los Angeles. That same month, they released their first Korean studio album, Dark and Wild, which peaked at number 2 on the Gaon chart and sold over 200,000 copies. It was supported by 2 singles, Danger and War of Hormone. Their Japanese studio album, Wake Up, released that December, peaking at number 3 on the weekly Oricon Albums chart and selling 28,000 copies. Along with re-recorded Japanese versions of older songs, it also contained the original tracks, Wake Up and The Stars. Their first concert tour, 2014 Beats Live Trilogy Episode 2, The Red Bullet, was held from October to December. 2015-2016, mainstream breakthrough and commercial success. At the beginning of 2015, Beats toured Japan for the first time with their Wake Up, Open Your Eyes tour. They also held their second solo concert in Korea, Beats Live Trilogy Episode 1, Beats Begins, their third EP. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1, was released that March and was the only Korean album to be included in Fuse's list of the 27 best albums of 2015 so far. That year, the lead single, I Need You, was a top 5 hit on the weekly Gaon digital chart in South Korea and garnered Beats their first ever music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. Although the second single, Dope, peaked at number 44 on the weekly Gaon digital chart, its music video became Beats' first to accrue over 100 million views on YouTube in October. Dope later peaked at number 3 on Billboard's World Digital Songs chart. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1 have sold over 300,000 copies to date. Beats' fourth Japanese single, For You, was released that June to celebrate the first anniversary of their Japanese debut. The single topped Oricon's daily chart, selling over 42,000 copies within its first day. They also commenced their 2015 Live Trilogy episode, the Red Bullet World Tour, and participated in the Summer Sonic Festival tour in Japan. During their 3-day The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on stage tour, the group performed the new song, Run. The lead single for the EP The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2 later released on November 30, 2015. The album topped the Weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts, and remained atop the latter for multiple weeks, making Beats the first K-pop act to achieve that feat. It also peaked at number 171 on the Billboard 200 chart with over 5,000 copies. At the 2015 Seoul Music Awards, they received the Best World Performer in recognition of their international fanbase. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1 and Part 2 were later combined into the Young Forever edition, and was supported by 3 singles: the Top 40 hit, Epilogue, Young Forever, the Top 10 hit, Fire, and the Top 20 hit, Save Me. A 2-day concert at the Olympic Gymnastics Arena in Seoul was held in May to support the album, followed by their Asia tour. The group also headlined both US Con shows held that year in New Jersey and Los Angeles, to sold-out audiences. Young Forever later won Album of the Year at the year-end Melon Music Awards, becoming the group's first major grand prize. On September 7, 2016, Beats released their second Japanese studio album Youth, selling over 44,000 copies on its first day of release and ranking number 1 in Japan. Japanese editions of I Need You and Run were released as singles. Meanwhile, back in their home country, pre-orders for the group's second Korean studio album, Wings, released that October, accumulated over 500,000 copies within the first week. The lead single, Blood, Sweat and Tears, achieved an all-kill in South Korea, becoming their first number 1 hit on the Weekly Gaon digital chart. Its music video gained over 6 million views within 24 hours, breaking the previous record held on YouTube for the highest number of views of a K-pop group music video within 24 hours. They later won Artist of the Year at the 2016 Seoul Music Awards, becoming the first artist not from a Big 3 entertainment company to do so. 2017 present, international recognition. In early 2017, Beats embarked on their Live Trilogy Episode 3, the Wings Tour. That February, pre-orders for the repackaged edition of Wings, entitled You Never Walk Alone, reached over 700,000 copies. The lead single, Spring Day, topped 8 of the major South Korean online music charts, as well as Gaon, and crashed Melon's digital chart due to the high influx of user traffic. It also entered the US Billboard's Bubbling Under Hot 100 Singles chart at number 15 with zero promotions. Their fifth EP, Love Yourself, Her, was released that September, and featured music from the Chainsmokers' Andrew Taggart for the track, Best of Me. The lead single, DNA, peaked at number 2 on the Weekly Gaon chart, while its music video reached over 20 million views on YouTube, breaking the record for most viewed K-pop group music video within the first 24 hours. DNA also became the group's first entry on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 85, making Beats the first K-pop boy band to do so, and the second Korean act with a Korean language song. When DNA rose to number 67, it became the highest charting song on the Billboard Hot 100 for a K-pop group, beating Wonder Girl's previous record at number 76. A remix for their song, Mic Drop, by Steve Aoki and featuring Designer was released as the second single, peaking at number 23 in South Korea and number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the first top 40 entry for a K-pop group on the chart. DNA and Mic Drop were later released as a AAA side single in Japan with the new song, Crystal Snow, which topped the Oricon chart, becoming the highest-selling single from a K-pop artist within a week, and making Beats the first foreign artist to achieve this. In November, the group became the first K-pop group to perform at the American Music Awards, raising their profile internationally. They won their second Artist of the Year at the 2017 Asian Music Awards, becoming the first act to win the award 2 years in a row. Spring Day later won Best Song of the Year at the Melon Music Awards. That December, they performed on Dick Clark's New Year's Rocking Eve to welcome the new year, making them the first K-pop group to be part of the show's lineup. They also made their Japanese TV music show debut on TV Asahi's Japan music station Superlive on December 22. January 2018 saw Beats receive their first double platinum certification from the Riage for their Mic Drop DNA/Crystal Snow single, the only single album by a foreign artist in 2017 to sell over 500,000 copies, and receive certification on the Oricon chart for that year. Later that month, they became the first artist outside of the Big Three to win both Grand Prize awards at the Golden Disc Awards and the Seoul Music Awards respectively. In February, their Mic Drop Remix and DNA singles were both certified gold by the RIAA, making Beats the first and only Korean artist to receive 2 certifications. An original, 8-episode-long documentary series, entitled Burn the Stage, that offers a behind-the-scenes look at the group's 2017 Wings tour, premiered March 28 on YouTube Premium, and ran exclusively on the platform until May 9. On April 4, their third Japanese studio album, Face Yourself, was released. Its debut at number 43 on the Billboard 200 made it the third highest charting Japanese album in the history of the chart. Later that same day, the group also released a 9-minute video titled Euphoria, said to be the theme to Love Yourself, Wonder. On April 17, Beats were again nominated for Top Social Artist at the 2018 Billboard Music Awards, which they later won on May 20, making them the only Korean artist to be nominated for and win the award 2 years in a row. They made their debut as performers at the show, premiering their new single, Fake Love, from their third Korean-language LP, Love Yourself, Tear, released on May 18. The album debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 with 135,000 album equivalent units, becoming Beats' highest charting and first number 1 album in the US. The first K-pop album to top the US albums chart, and the highest charting album by an Asian act. Fake Love peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 that same week, becoming the band's highest-reaching song on the chart as well as their first in the top 10. Overall, Fake Love is the 17th non-English song to reach the top 10, and the first for a K-pop group. The single also debuted at number 7 on Billboard's streaming songs chart with 27.4 million streams earned in the week ending May 24, giving Beats its first top 10 on the chart, and making Fake Love the first K-pop song to land on top 10 since Psy's Hangover, featuring Snoop Dogg in 2014. On August 14, Fake Love was confirmed by the Recording Industry Association of America to reach gold status, having sold over 500,000 copies in SPS units. This marked Beats' third song to reach gold certification. Love Yourself, Tear also reached number 8 on the UK albums chart, marking the group's first top 10 album in the country. In June 2018, Time included Beats in the list of 25 most influential people on Internet. On July 17, the group announced the release of their second compilation album Love Yourself, Answer for August 24, 2018, with 7 new tracks added to the release. Their 2018 World Tour, titled Beats World Tour, Love Yourself, began the following day in Seoul. For the final stop of the North American leg, the band will perform at Citi Field, marking the first time a Korean act has performed at a US stadium. All 40,000 tickets for the stadium date were later confirmed by Big Hit Entertainment to have sold out in under 20 minutes. On August 24, 2018, the album was released, along with the music video for Idol. An alternative version of the track featuring Nicki Minaj was released digitally on the same date, with a music video for the Minaj version relating on September 6. debuting at number 1 on the US Billboard 200. The album became Beats' second number 1 album, their second of 2018, and their highest sales week in the country to date. It earned 185,000 album equivalent units, which comprises 141,000 in pure album sales, 25,000 C units and 19,000 T units, making Beats the only K-pop act with 2 Billboard 200 toppers, and the first pop act with 2 number 1 albums in less than a year since One Direction topped the chart with 4 in 2014, which followed their 2013 album Midnight Memories. In Canada, Love Yourself, Answer became the band's first number 1 album on the Canadian Albums Chart, earning over 10,000 consumption units. The single from the album, Idol, reached number 5 on the Canadian Singles Chart, marking Beats' first top 10 hit in Canada. Artistry. The septet co-writes and produces much of their output, to which some media outlets have attributed their success. The group's early musical style and image was influenced by hip-hop, as in N.O. and No More Dream. They later branched out into R&B and rock music with Danger and Boy in Love. The members' solo songs and Wings incorporated a diverse range of genres, with neo-soul for Versus, Stigma, gospel for J-Hope's Mama, and piano rap for Sugar's First Love. Beats has been praised for speaking honestly about topics they deem important, even in a conservative society, by Jeff Benjamin in Fuse magazine. Tamar Herman of Billboard magazine noted that the band's songs have recurring themes. Their Skool trilogy, Too Cool for School, Oh, Rule 8,2, and School Love Affair, explored the troubles and anxieties of school-age youth. Not Today, From You Never Walk Alone is an anti-establishment anthem, with messages advocating for minority groups, while Wings touches on mental health and female empowerment. Love Yourself, Her, the first of 4 EPs of the Love Yourself series, deals with love, friendship, loss, and death, while the second EP, Love Yourself, Tear, was praised for dealing with the cycle of grief that lingers through a separation. Grace Jong, editor-in-chief of Soompi, has said, Beats has something to say and has a great marketing strategy that doesn't alienate non-Korean speaking fans. South Korean President Moon Jae-in, in a letter to Beats, recognized their sincerity and inclusion of diversity as key to their success. Writing, each of the 7 members sings in a way that is true to himself and the life he wants to live. Their melody and lyrics transcend regional borders, language, culture, and institutions. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?